In this week's court report, an area man taken into custody after allegations of a domestic battery confrontation with both his mother and sister is scheduled in court Thursday. Edward Snook is accused of becoming agitated and making random statements that scared his mother, like referring to himself as Jesus Christ, before allegedly shoving, pushing, and trapping the elderly woman down on a couch, then slapping her phone out of her hand, all before pushing her into a room, confining her against her will. Then the defendant's sister began to yell for him to get out of her house, where Snook was not allowed to stay because he was relegated only as a guest in a trailer next to her property. His sister says Snook told her no when he was asked to leave, then shoved her with an open hand into her ribs. That's when Snook's sister called police, and he was arrested after an officer wrangled him from a vehicle he barricaded himself inside. Snook has two separate cases in justice court, both with the same dates of occurrence relating to this incident. In the first case, Snook faces formal charges of second-degree kidnapping, false imprisonment, and burglary. In his second case, Snook is facing charges including 2 counts of domestic battery, resisting a public officer, and obstructing a public officer. During his formal arraignment, the court appointed Snook a public defender who invoked the defendant's right to a speedy trial. The court scheduled a pretrial hearing for Monday, May 1st, and a preliminary hearing on May 4th. In that first case, and in his second case, Snook has a status hearing this Thursday, May 4th. The defendant was remanded back into custody, $206,140, cash or bond. The local woman who pleaded guilty to perjury and prohibited acts of voter violations as part of a plea deal after being arrested for various charges connected to fraudulently filling out voter registration forms was taken back into custody after testing positive for drugs. Tina Marie Parks was present for what should have been her sentencing, but the court pointed out that the defendant tested positive for drugs that day. The court will send the sample to a lab for confirmation. When addressing the court, Parks even admitted to using drugs once, so the court revoked Parks's OR release and continued this matter to May 19th. The 47-year-old Pahrump woman arrested after being accused of attempting to lure children into her vehicle at Ian Dortch Park, then allegedly exposing her breast, will now undergo a formal psychological evaluation. During her scheduled arraignment, Shauna Lee Gibbons' attorney stated that there's a stipulation for an evaluation to be conducted. The court concurs and signed an order to send the defendant to Lakes Crossing. No follow-up court dates have been scheduled due to Gibbons' pending mental evaluation. This has been your court report. I'm Eunette Gentry for News 46.